Hey everybody, welcome to another Mixing with Swigs. This time we're doing something a little different. We're going to be working a little bit more on the arrangement side, kind of tweaking a very short song provided to us by Bboynoe. The song is the intro to the NES game Shatterhand, and I've been given a lot of chiptune tracks, some guitar tracks, bass, and then fairly basic drums. And what I'm actually gonna try to focus on this episode, since I noticed this was kind of an issue coming up for a few people, kind of like writing drums that make sense. So if we go ahead and look, the MIDI's pretty solid, but we definitely have a lot of stuff that maybe doesn't make sense or could be improved. So we're gonna sort of take a listen, and I'm gonna actually show for once the tweaking process of making, you know, alright sound a little bit better. So I don't like this one. There we go. Looking at a ghost note here, which is a snare rough. So it's just like kind of building up to the notes. And unfortunately my MIDI mapping here is a little different than the one I received, so. And I'm gonna create like a pseudo marching snare roll here. So I need to kind of become consistent here. Lower the velocities because they're lighter hits. So I'm gonna add some hits here, otherwise we really don't get much emphasis. Actually, what we can do is turn these into hits and add some filler, like some recoil almost. And I'm basically air drumming. Obviously you can't see it, but I'm trying to find a good visualization for what's possible to be played and what sounds good. So I'm gonna start enabling some tracks. Obviously I have not amped all of these tracks yet, so they may not have some information. I want to show you guys how I do that. Obviously with like 3 hits, I like to have them rise a little bit. And just because I think this makes our drummer sound a little more competent. And now I'm going to change all these hi-hat closed to the original articulation that I use, and then I'm going to show you how to diversify hi-hats. So obviously after hitting a cymbal here, that person's not going to be able to move all the way to the left yet. So I'm going to switch up a lot of the articulations. And usually it's going to be more power, less power, more power, less power. So and yeah. I'm actually going to move most of these hits to the left because that's where my hi-hats are, so it makes more sense. And then we'll have the bell trigger. And I like to switch kick drums because that way you have 2 different articulation samples. And as you can see, well, now you can see, my hi-hats are sitting on the left like drummer perspective. I keep them really low because they can get bothersome. So hold on. Ba da 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 do da do da. Okay, and now I'm gonna take some of these and switch them to different sample hits. This is the key, I think, to more realistic drums. And again, every time you hit the cymbals, you have some recovery time. And I'm just cleaning up fills here, and for realism's sake. And again, we'll get some, and we got a cool fill here. And I think it ends a little bit too early there, so just keep some sustained. And then there's way too much stuff going here for the amount of arms. So let's smash this. So we have the ride going on, just bell hits, which is perfectly fine. I'm gonna bring those up a little. They're already randomized. I got them sent, which is great, so. And because we've had so many crashes and embellishments, I'm gonna put it on the same side as the ride. That way you know that an arm could reach it in time. So I don't actually think this is quite the best idea because the kick and snare can block each other. And this hand would probably be a little quieter. My toms are a little quiet, so let's bring that up for you guys. We don't need the kicks. And that's just good use. I'm gonna change all these Spock hits to be... I think it's fairly reasonable to put it on the left. And I'm gonna try to spruce this up, since I've been deemed allowed to do so. So I'm gonna reduce that. And play with the velocities a hair. Hold on. I'm not in love with this. That's too quick. And we'll hit left and right. Nope. There we go. See, that's a little more clever, in my opinion. Let's get back to 8s and scooch dish over. Maybe we'll make this a little more cute. And see, now we're doing this little like cash thing, just common. So we need to match it. All this really helps if you just, you know, spend drummer videos, see what they can't do, see what they can do. So da 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 da. So I'm gonna make that a little more firm. Da da da, and then. And what I'm doing there is just surround the end with the listener having only one ear satisfied. One ear is satisfied. Oops. There's more. And we're gonna need more space. Wait. Okay. I think this might work best. This is getting cut off too early for me. Here. Alrighty. Now that we have the drums, we have the rhythm, we have most of the bass, I'm gonna take a look at the overall bass track, and we're gonna lighten it. Alright, so that's actually pretty a lot of ways I don't see the need to over compress, but I am gonna do call it a multi-band compression, but it's basically just cut off the low end a little bit more and keep it tight. So let's hunt I'm just gonna dissect this a little. Okay, that's a little cooler. Okay, so now we have bass and rhythm. Let's take a look at these lead guitars. And actually, what I'm gonna do before that, that's my recorder, of course. I'm gonna add an EQ to just like go ahead and have. So this is just something that raises the low end and the high end. Let me show a look at that. And if we go ahead and mix with this on here, you're gonna notice like everything a little more radio friendly because it's brighter and has like that thump low end. already brings it up a lot. Now, lead guitars are really stupid, but they don't have to be. So all I'm really gonna do is trim off a little bit of the bottom, not even, just so that we can feel like it's a vocal. That's why I keep them very close to center. Here, there's already a lot of delay pedals, but I like using the Valhalla Shimmer delay plugin, so I like to drop that down a lot, add like some stereo. So this is what I was actually really looking forward to. I'm going to use Guitar Rig, my preferred VST of choice for low CPU usage. I'm gonna turn on the high quality because, you know, that's how real people do it. We're gonna turn on, where is it? Dynamics, noise reduction. Set this to like 29. I'm gonna pick a random amp. It's not gonna be random because I like this one. So let's switch on to the lead. And I'm gonna add reverb, and we're gonna pick a guitar cabinet. I'm basically showing you how to make a tone really quickly. So instead of real spaces, we're gonna go to impulse responses, amp sim, and we're gonna pick Mesa, and then I'm gonna pick the SM57 because that's my favorite. And then now we're going to pick a distortion pedal, put this behind, something like that. Reduce the gain. Smoothing it out with less gain. Okay, that already sounds pretty good. And then, what do you know? We add delay. I'll use MDA delay. That's how you make a drum. Take off the delay and you have decent rhythm. Of course you can EQ it and whatever, but and since I liked that so much, I'm gonna copy all these, copies all effects, and then we'll just add something to this so that it has this menu, and then paste them all, and whoa, what do you know, it only took 4 seconds instead of 20 to act together. Let's keep these around percentage. compressor, mostly just, actually, these are pretty undynamic, so there's no advantage here. Okay, cool. Everyone's happy. Now let's go to the synth. Now synths, there's definitely going to be some need for spacing out because this is such a wide song, so listen. So we have a lead on the left, so let's match this on the right. So I'm gonna add delay to this because it's kind of like a lead track, has a voice zone. And all those guys, they could use some delay love. Just, I boost the delay timing a lot so that it feels a little more epic distant and doesn't build up on itself. And then I drop that, so. I'm gonna try to keep these around maybe 45 to 50, so, you know, wide. Honestly, I'm just gonna drop this delay on everybody. This is a pretty decent delay. I'm gonna change the timing so that things aren't like perfectly overlapping and causing phasing issues. And that's actually sounding good. Last thing we're gonna do is add some reverb. So again, as you guys probably know, I like having reverb as a bus. We don't really need to do too much to it, and it already arrived here. I don't need this. So let's start with the crazy reverb. So I'm gonna take that from the lead guitars. Actually, I'm not gonna do it that way. I'm gonna send the individual tracks just in case I need to like reevaluate the volumes. So let's send that to Craverb, and then all my synthesizers are gonna go to the crazy verb, which is just, you know, a bigger reverb. So let's take a listen to how this reverbs. So it's a little bit too much. So pardon me. Let's go to Chicago Church. And that's fine. Now I'm gonna send only the overhead, hi-hats, toms, and this is starting to sound less only. Okay, so we're gonna send that to the regular reverb, and the regular reverb I'm using not this. I'm gonna use something like a studio, just something that gives it a little bit of reflections. So. Now, a little pro tip, I like to put vocals sometimes in the same spot, if it makes sense, just to have both of them going on like that. Some multi-band compression with isotope, and hopefully you guys notice like my process changes video to video, so hopefully that shows like I'm learning to. The key about multi-band compression is control, so I'm gonna try to get rid of all those pesky boominess and stuff, and keep a lot of other aspects. Considering this is a short series, at this stage I would add a limiter to crank it up. However, you guys will probably go deaf and die, so I'm just going to show you the steps, and then I'm not going to actually force you guys to hear. Basically, I set it to an output level that I'm comfortable with it keeping at, and for me that's, as this thing calls it, minus 0.20 decibels, which is like -2 on this scale. Alright, I think that's actually pretty good enough for a 1-hour mix for a 20-second song. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. I'm glad that I got to do a little more like a hands-on approach, showed off some drum ideas. Let me know if you guys like it. I'm gonna be starting a Patreon very soon where I'll be taking a little bit more like mixing lessons and so on. I might be doing those on the main channel, but stick around. Let me know what you guys thought in the comments, and please check out Bboynoe's cover of Shatterhand intro that'll be coming out very soon using this very mix. Thank you guys for watching, and take it easy.